What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of We Gotta Speak on It. I'm your boy Quay, and today, y'all, we're gonna get to this conversation about Charlie Kirk. We're gonna have an open discussion. We're gonna talk about whether or not we think that it's deserving, or people should be more empathetic, or people should be allowed to just feel how they feel based off of what they see or whatever. Should we make people feel bad for not being empathetic, or should they be empathetic because it's the right thing to do? You know, we're gonna just have an open conversation about it and really just kind of get down to the root of, how we should behave in this situation or what we think about it. And let's just get right to it, y'all. Because first and foremost, I did a reaction video. In my video, I talked about having more empathy. I talked about George Floyd. And I made a comparison because I felt like the country always gets divided in these situations. George Floyd, in the case with George Floyd, as soon as he got killed, we watched him for 8 minutes, almost 9 minutes, with a knee on his neck. And afterwards, after we saw him beg, piss on himself, and call for his mama, and died, people said it was the fentanyl. Okay, so I felt like you had to be very empathetic, or you had no empathy to do that. And I feel like as people, we have to be able to, not use our judgments on people based on their history, based on what you think about their politics, and have an open and honest, reaction to somebody losing their life. So when Charlie Kirk happened, I decided to make the cross comparison because, again, the country is divided again. Somebody get killed in the most heinous way, shot in the neck in front of a lot of people at a college in front of his wife and kids. And I just felt like, damn, that was cold-blooded. That was cold-blooded. So I made the video because I think that some of the people that were celebrating, some of the people that were like, happy about it, I thought that was a little bit too much. But, since then, I talked to a few people. And, I want to ask my panel, do you guys feel like y'all seen a lot of people reacting to it in a way to where it was like making a mockery or laughing, like it was like it was good that he got killed? Did y'all notice that on social media? Alvin, you first.
Yeah. I saw a lot of it. I saw uh, different things, and what you're saying about empathy. I see you don't see that sometimes. I think there's a party that's welcoming division, and in
Mm-hmm.
a welcoming of division, that it's like we don't see ourselves as human anymore. We see ourselves as two different sects. So you're part. It's almost like a gang war. It's like it's your side against that side. And
Mm-hmm.
if their side loses, they're gonna celebrate about it, and that's kind of what's going on right now.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, yeah, I saw that on social media a lot.
Yeah. You know. Um, what about you, Jannar? What you think? Did you notice a lot of people celebrating and seem like they just had no type of what you think about it?
First, I just want to thank God for this opportunity to, what I'm saying, fellowship
Mm-hmm.
and have a conversation with my brothers about real life on a great podcast. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate you for doing this, Q.
Appreciate
But to answer the
you.
question, yeah, I absolutely saw people laughing and celebrating the situation, which I thought was completely out of bounds, bro. Like completely out of bounds. I definitely saw that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about you, Teddy? You can go.
Right. Hey, what's happening, fellas, man? I'm sorry I'm late, but
Mhm.
just got in from work. But
Yeah.
I'll say this. I mean, I think we look at situations and we can say that it's a celebration, and for some people it may be, but I think in the emotional unintelligence of people, it's a it they may celebrate versus an acknowledgement of karma that he may have had coming to him. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that, from the outside looking in, they don't really understand how to facilitate those emotions because of, they're not really in a space or not necessarily having to deal with that before. So, from the standpoint of looking at it, it could certainly be viewed as a celebration. But I also think that again, for a lot of people, it's mainly an acknowledgement of karma. You know what I mean? I mean, the dude really like he put a lot of hate into the world. So when you do shit like that, karma dictates what comes back to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about you, Dustin? Did you notice a lot of celebrating? How did it make you feel, bro?
Well, so I have a lot of friends, on my socials and from all walks of life. And one thing I wouldn't say I saw people celebrating it. What I feel like I saw were people who seemed more like they just didn't care. Like, yeah, I'm not happy he was murdered, but I think he wasn't really a good person. So they didn't really care. Plus, I saw a lot of quotes from him, his reference to the word empathy and how he doesn't like the word empathy. And so a lot of people were like, in honor of him, I'm not going to be very empathetic. And then from the people I feel like who are on the other side, I saw just so many posts that were just immediately blaming it all on the other side.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna
And
get to that.
so it was, and it's funny because you brought up George Floyd, because I kind of thought about this too, because I remember when it all first came out, looking at different socials from both sides. And it seemed like when they first saw the video, without knowing who George Floyd was, the comments were unilaterally were like, that man was murdered. This is terrible. And then all of a sudden, I saw some interview Candace Owens gave where she
Mm-hmm.
portrays who or whatever his past was as if any of that mattered. And suddenly, I started seeing the right side all of a sudden turn on him. And even just earlier this year, when the 1 year anniversary of his stuff came up, because like I said, I live here in Utah, which is a red state, and just so many just horrible comments about this man. So that's, yeah.
Absolutely. I wanted to get to that too. You say you're in Utah, so
Yeah.
you're not. How far are you from the actual shooting? You know.
Like if I got into my car right now, it would take me 30 minutes tops to get to that university.
Wow. What is the vibe on the ground like when it was looking for the well? Let me do one thing at a time because I'm excited. You saying you in Utah? I'm like, wait a minute, like that's boots on the ground for real. But real, I'm gonna start with you though. Still, like what's the vibe? Like, what was the vibe when all that went down? Was it like pandemonium out there, or is it like on some retaliation talk? Like what are they saying as far as that?
From my own personal friends, I have, that are fans of Charlie Kirk, so to speak.
Mhm.
I haven't heard talks of revenge of any sort. It just seems more just the left is violent. They need to be held accountable without even knowing who did this to begin with. But
Mhm.
I wasn't at the venue when this happened. I wouldn't go see Charlie Kirk.
Right.
So but watching a lot of the news and interviews from people there, it just seemed so reactionary from the second the shot rang out.
Yeah.
And you saw kind of a lot of chaos occur with all the people ducking and running. So
Mhm.
you know
Okay. So I want to touch on something real quick because Teddy said that he got the karma that he put out there. So I want to ask that question to the panel. The karma he's talking about is obviously Charlie Kirk had a lot of debates. He said a lot of stuff. He said a lot of stuff, and in the heat of the debate, he was using a lot of comparables, and he was obviously black people sometimes got the brunt of what the point he was trying to get across. I mean, the clips are going all over. I even had to second guess myself about asking people should they be more pathetic, but I do think it's the right thing to do. So I'm gonna stand on that, and I think that but people, I do think people have the right to feel how they want to process it. They have the right to do that as well. But do do everybody on this? Do anybody think that? Do y'all think Charlie Kirk is racist based on what you've seen so far?
I wouldn't say I think he's racist. I think
Mhm.
he's made a lot of misguided statements, but
Mhm.
I mean, I'm empathetic to his family and to the people who respected him, whether he wanted me to use that word or not. Just, I mean, imagine seeing your father, your husband, cold blooded, murdered. I, um, I don't mind other people's points of views. I had a
Mhm.
hard time listening to him because if you're advocating for politics, I want to hear policy that's going to improve lives, not culture war issues. So I ain't really trying to sit and talk about trans kids and all that. I think that's rhetoric that I don't personally want to listen to or partake in. And there's
Right.
other examples of this from him. I can go on, but
Okay.
they was literally talking about trans kids as mass shooters, which, by the way, I think I can only find like 4 instances where it's just, I don't think it necessarily matters when that's probably the minority of people that have committed mass shootings in this country.
Right. Teddy, when you think from what you've gathered, do you see Charlie Kirk as a racist, fascist, or bigot? What do you think?
No, 100%, without question. I mean, the way that he characterized Black men, Black women, that in itself is like 100%. That's how he feel, as if we're not worthy, we're beneath him. Just the things that he chose to spew, about a race of people for no reason, actually. But it's amazing to think that anybody in 2025 can actually have those opinions about people, as if they're unintelligent, they're undeserving, and in 2025, with all the information that we have, to still put that out there as such, if you believe that, then that's really telling more about you than it is telling about the people that you're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna pass the question to you, Jannard.
So the question was that if I thought he was a racist. I'm gonna have to say no. So the reason why I'm saying no is because there was a tweet that Lamar Jackson retweeted about Charlie Kirk, and Charlie Kirk came and big up Lamar Jackson right after that. So if you're a racist, you're not giving any person who you're being racist against any type of shine, light, or anything whatsoever. He gave Lamar that shine, and I posted that. You'll see it's in the group here. I posted in the group, but
Okay.
he was like those college kids, man. He had a lot of passion. He was misinformed. He said a lot of like the 2 gentlemen said before me. He said a lot of controversial stuff that he was ignorant on. But racist, no, he wasn't a racist because, like I said, if he was a racist, he wouldn't have gave Lamar Jackson that praise that he gave Lamar Jackson for retweeting his post about Jesus. He was a Christian, man. He was just misinformed. Like, none of us are perfect, bro. We're all sinners. He was just misinformed, and he had a platform, and he was passionate, and he loved to talk.
Okay.
Not right now.
What do you think, Alvin? You see him as a fascist, bigot, and a racist, or what?
With Charlie Kirk, I don't believe Charlie Kirk was a racist. And I think I understand why people like Black people can think that, people like myself and the other people that don't follow the man. I never followed him or nothing, but I looked at some of them after he died just to kind of figure out what was going on. And like Janelle said, he was a Christian, so he had different belief systems. And some of the things that he talked about was like he was kind of speaking to statistics that most of us can even recognize how most of the price in our communities are there because of some of the systemic things that we have felt in oppressive years beforehand. But it's 2025 now, and we're still there. Sometimes we got to stop trying to blame someone else. But I don't think the man was racist because of some of the things he talked about. If he because I've seen him also critique other things. So it's not. I don't think it's a black white situation. I just think that he was murdered because of some of the things he said. And it's like, I never can agree with, like, I'm harming you because of what you said. That's just crazy to me. But I'm trying to figure out a way to put it out there without making it sound kind of crazy. But just to answer that question right there, man, I don't think the dude was racist. Misinformed, misguided, or maybe even said things that could offend people. Like, that's something we were all taught at 5 years old, man. Sticks and stones will break our bones, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to say this real quick too, because I don't just use that word. I don't throw it out there loosely. I don't put that on somebody unless I feel like they have some serious hard evidence. You know what I mean? But you know, because you know, it's this not a situation where we just quickly trying to pull out the race card, nothing like that. But I do think from what I've seen in some of the conversations that we are giving up, from some of the things I've seen, the conversations that he's had, is not so much of I feel like it's more white supremacist kind of like giving a little bit to me in some ways, because what he said specifically, what Teddy was talking about what he said about black women. I mean, he literally makes arguments that black people are less intelligent, less qualified, and he used the DIE talking point to kind of drive it home most of the time. And I felt like, so I'm always listening past what he's saying. I thought his angles that he was going at, they felt kind of supremacy, like you guys are not qualified unless we give you a position. You know, other than that, there's always a white person smarter than you. You know, that's the you know, the angle I've heard him argue. So racist, I don't know if you know, we break down these words one by one, but I think supremacist is what is given to me. But let me see real quick. Garland in the comment section says yes. Nikki says ignorant yes, racist no. And yeah, man. So you know, Charlie Kirk, you know, when I made my reaction video, I saw clips that I haven't seen. I've been following Charlie Kirk for a while. I'm gonna just say this. I don't know how many of y'all been following. How many of y'all been following Charlie Kirk before this happened?
I knew of him, never followed him though.
You know of him?
Yeah, I
That's
knew
the
other
same
dudes.
for me as well.
I didn't know who he
And
was.
You know who
one
he
of the
was?
ways I knew who he was too, because like if you're scrolling through and you see like a debate and he's inviting people to like challenge, like if he has an opinion on a certain topic, you know, and he's inviting you to come challenge it to change his mind about it. And I think that right there shows that he's at least giving you an opportunity just the kind of debate that the talking point that he's giving out. If he's saying something concerning even DEI, like that even like it challenges thinking until where it's like I'm like, okay, with the DEI whole principle, we understand what it's meant to be. It's meant to give opportunities to people that haven't had that opportunity previously, where at least they have a shot to get in the door. But it also can be a position where it lessens the requirement for those that may not be qualified to get a step ahead of someone that may be qualified. And that was the talking point he was making in that matter. And I understand that from different, as a business owner, I understand that as well. When I'm hiring someone, I'm not, you know, it's different. It's difficult to look at that application or that resume. And I'm looking at someone that may be qualified. And just because this person looks like me and their resume doesn't look the same, I don't think that's right for me to just look at them more, even though I would like to have more people of color in business in position to succeed. You know, so there's a different dynamic that I look at where I don't think is a racist or a supremacist ideology. Just the point of the matter that if I want success, I will want the best people for the job, regardless of how they look.
But even the angle, and I agree with you saying, I understand what you're saying, but I think the angle, no, I'm gonna get to you, Teddy. I'm sorry.
No,
The angle, the angle that he came at with the DEI, and I get what you're saying, but again, you know, I don't think people of DEI, they're not pulling from a pool of people that's not qualified. So the whole idea of it to me, you know, it's kind of like, you know, just smoke and mirrors. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I assume there's probably some positions where they are probably hiring people who maybe, but if an airplane flight, a pilot isn't going to be a pilot without having his certifications. You know what I mean? So for his comment about saying, if I go on a plane, I see a black pilot, I literally saw a clip where he said this. If I go on a plane, I see a black pilot, I'm going to be concerned if he's qualified. And like, bro, what world are you living in? No pilots are getting licenses. I mean, and if you think about it, in that moment where he's looking at that black pilot feeling unsafe, he's in the act of being racist at that moment. Like, damn, bro, like it's probably driven by this thought of DEI. But in the moment, like, you know, you probably telling somebody, I hope he can fly. You nudging your next your partner next to you. Yeah, man. So Teddy, what you want to say?
So, right, with that being said, if decisions that you make is based on a person's appearance because of what you think of that person, that's like being a racist. You know what I mean? if you look at a person and think that this person may not be qualified just because they're black, that's damn near the definition of racism, or you know what I mean, or well, prejudice. I'll say that. So you prejudge a person, and that leads to racism. You know what I mean? So you put yourself in that position and in that category. So another thing, like I heard one of you guys say he's not because he gave a shout out to somebody that liked the post. Right. There's a ton of racist people that go to football games and cheer for their team. You know what I'm saying? That don't exclude them from being racist because they like their team or they like the player that's on their team. And most racist people, they will look at a black person and say, oh, he's a good one. Shit like that because they're comfortable with that person. That don't exclude them from being, racist. And I'm not trying to dispute your argument. I'm just, kind of give a little context to it. So, and the DEI is put in place because of racism, you know what I mean, that excludes people from having an opportunity. So absolutely, you want the best person, so in a group of applications or applicants, yeah, you want the best person. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't pick the best person, but if you exclude a person because of who they are, what they look like, that's an issue. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy, man, that we even have to go through this shit to even try to figure out, am I being racist if I choose this? You know what I'm saying? That's crazy that we have to live in that shit right now. It's insane. And it's difficult, and it makes me feel bad as a person. You know what I mean? Because now I have to choose this versus that. Or will I get shit because I chose this versus that?
Absolutely.
And don't get me wrong, man. Look, I'm for any white person that wants to hire all white people. I'm not mad at that. At their business, I'm not mad at that.
Right.
Absolutely not. I understand it. You know what I mean? I'm not mad at that. But I also understand that everybody at some point, some way should have an opportunity. I understand that too.
I didn't want to go down the rabbit hole of DEI. Sorry about that, yo. But I did want to clear up because when we we put, what'd you say, Elvin?
My bad. Go ahead, kid.
Okay. When we put races or white supremacist stuff like that on people, it's important that we kind of give context. I just want to kind of just give why I felt like he could be a supremacist or have supremacy type of ways at least. But again, I was trying to get to say that I watched a lot of his debates. I actually reacted to one on my YouTube channel already about a month and a half ago. And he's a smart dude, but he's not always correct. I mean, I've seen debates where he didn't look that good in front of students. Students kind of outdid him, I felt like personally. But I thought his content was entertaining, personally, I thought the man was he had different views. I didn't want to see him, I don't think he deserved to be shot down like that. I don't think that it was something that, people should be celebrating. So when I made the post again, I wanted to just express that and kind of like almost again use the George Floyd situation as a medium and say, hey, we own both sides, because everything seems to be divided. It seems like it's always Republicans against Democrats, blacks against whites. Every time somebody died, depending on what color it is and what and everything is divisive. Some stuff should be bipartisan. Everything don't have to be so divided. We should all be able to agree that a man shot on live at a live event at a college campus in front of all them students, in front of his wife and kids. We should all agree that wasn't cool. It wasn't a good look. Even if we don't care, we should be able to say that that was kind of messed up. If he died on, like, I spoke on a Hulk Hogan issue recently. Me and Teddy had a show about that, and I said he was a racist. And and we both said, it don't matter. Okay, he dead. So, but he died on his own. He didn't get killed. So that's the difference. I just wanted to speak on the difference of why, in my opinion, was slightly different on that. But but again, maybe he did get his karma. Some of us feel like that looking at his history, that's how they feel. So I don't know, man. But let me ask y'all this. Do y'all think seeing something like that live, you think are we desensitized as a people to where that kind of thing is not even much a big deal no more? Like social media has made it to where you can see a beheading like, easy. Like some of this stuff, the social media area has truly desensitized us. Do y'all think that's part of the reason why people are a little bit less empathetic? I'm gonna start with you, Janard. What you think?
Yeah. I just want to respond to Teddy and clear things up. I know he said context. When
Cool.
Charlie Kirk brought up Lamar Jackson, it wasn't about the Ravens. It was a tweet about Jesus Christ that Lamar had reposted. So it had nothing to do with a football team. It had nothing to do with him cheering for anything Lamar was. No, it was about Christ. Lamar's a Christian. Charlie's a Christian. And also, Q, what was your question again, Q?
As far as I forgot my own damn question.
Oh, have we been desensitized? Have we been? Yeah.
Yeah, that's the question.
Yeah, we have been desensitized to violence and seeing violence. Yes, I think we have been desensitized to that, but it's crazy, man. I don't know. A lot of people didn't like this guy or whatever, but the thing is, he was 31 years old. This dude wasn't, in my mind, of his prefrontal cortex hasn't even fully developed as a grown man yet. Like he's still just like a passionate kid. To me, I'm about to be 42. I don't know. He still hasn't fully matured yet. But 31 years old? Nah.
I don't know. You say he should at 31. You don't see him as a grown man?
How he was acting. Okay, combine how he was acting, combine what he was doing, saying what he was saying, doing what he was doing. You consider that a grown man?
Well,
mentally. I'm talking about mentally.
Yeah, I mean, hey man, I mean, he the same way he go up there and give all and do them debates and make people look pretty bad. I think he was a smart guy. I mean, I wouldn't. The last thing I would think is his intellect is lacking in any kind of way. That's the last thing I would think. But I get what you're saying though. 31 is a grown man. Julie said in the comments.
Yeah, he's grown.
Real quick, y'all. T. Brown says, you can tell we're disincentivized. Okay, desensitized. I think he's trying to say. Look at how people talking about him, talking crazy like this man was not a human. A lot of people spitting some vile stuff about the man. Something with Kevin Samuels trying to say. The man died. Black women were happy. Yeah, he's saying the same thing with Kevin Samuels. Like he died. Black women were happy. It's like people are not treating death like, with the kind of urgency that they used to, I think. And I think it's because, that's why I brought it up. I think it's because we're somewhat desensitized. We've seen so much death. Social media has got us so trained to just, see it and move on, But yeah, man, I wouldn't wish some stuff on my worst enemy. That's just me personally, but I give everybody else the right to feel how they want to feel. I want to play a clip real quick, y'all, and we're gonna react to it real quick. Let me see something. Okay, wait. Come on, are you kidding me?
Kirk's killer.
All right, 1 sec, y'all.
Kirk's killer, Tyler Robinson. He's not black. He's not trans. He's not Muslim. He's not an immigrant. He is not a Democrat. Meet Charlie Kirk's assassin, Tyler Robinson. He is a white, Christian, conservative, Republican male with a gun again. And statistically, when all of this was going on, when Fox News started declaring war, when Jesse Waters and Laura Ingraham, which recklessly tried to rile up their base that somehow the left was in charge of this, statistically, I knew that this was probably a white male, as all shooters are. And this seems to be MAGA grown terrorism. MAGA is a culture that embraces unrestricted access to guns at all times. They want guns to have more rights than women. This is the don't tread on me crowd. This is the crowd that if anybody steps out of line to their dear leader, they get death threats, even within their own party. You can go no further than to ask Mitt Romney or John McCain before he died of a brain tumor. This is what happens to anybody who steps out of line with the cult leader. But Fox News and these right-wing influencers would have you believe that people like us that want people to have health care, that want a safe place for Charlie Kirk to have gone and done his job. I wanted Charlie Kirk to be able to go do what he wanted to do, even though I disagree with all of the hateful shit that he says. The world that I want to live in is a place where Charlie Kirk is not shot. And so what they've done, what Fox News and all of these right-wing influencers putting targets on so many liberals' backs, they've started a whole website about Charlie's murderers and listing people online and doxing them. And this is a homegrown problem. Donald Trump has the most divisive rhetoric that I've ever heard in my life. I've never heard American presidents speak out against their own citizens. And while all this was going on, these right-wing influencers were riling up, and Fox News was riling up the base and saying it's all these leftists. The Utah governor also revealed that there's a huge bot farm of Chinese and Russian bots that were in the algorithms owned by all of Trump's supporters. Utah Governor Spencer Cox said Russian and Chinese bots are stoking violence online in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination. So when Donald Trump found out.
All right, y'all. So you get the gist of what she's saying. I think you know, what do y'all make of what she's saying? First and foremost, the first point she talked about, with the first thing they thought that it was the killer, the shooter was a liberal gay man, that this dude, what is his name? Tyler, did this killer.
Tyler Robinson.
Go ahead, Dustin. What do you think about the clip?
I mean, listen, I think both political parties need to step up and diffuse this stuff. I mean, look what happened in the Trump assassination attempt. I mean, Joe Biden was on TV literally trying to diffuse it. He picked up the phone. He called Trump. Listen to what Trump is saying right now. He's literally, this is all the radical left fault. I mean, he did it yesterday. He did it today. I mean, when you got the president of the United States stoking the flames, I mean, I expect that to come from, I mean, I've heard other Republicans on the House do it on, you know, where Democrats, for the most part, have been releasing videos condemning this, like they did the Trump assassination attempt. I mean, there's violence that have occurred against left-wing politicians that I can just start listing them off, going back to 2011 when Gabby Giffords was shot in the head. I mean, we're going to continue to have these divisions when our political leaders are stoking those divisions.
Great point.
Yes, absolutely. What do you think about that video, Janard? Go ahead, since you're talking.
Let me just tell Teddy this one more thing, Q, because I forgot when I was speaking earlier. So Charlie Kirk is on record saying, if you agree with him about Jesus Christ and disagree with him about his political ideology / views, etc., he's cool with that. That goes back to the Lamar Jackson retweet and platform, like the point I was making earlier. But the video, I don't know. It sounded like a lot of emotion. If dude killed an innocent man, he obviously wasn't a Christian, regardless of what he said he was. So, you know, we got to take that with a grain of salt. You know, she's obviously hurt. You know, she sounded hurt. She made some points though, but he definitely wasn't a Christian. If he killed an innocent man in front of his family for no reason at all, he wasn't being attacked. He wasn't threatening anybody. So that's just like we gotta learn how to discern and filter through, you know, what's the narratives that's being spewed out here. There's gonna be a lot of emotion.
Would that have made more sense if she would have said he grew up in a Christian home? Would that have been a better point, Janord?
Say that again?
Would you have, if she would have worded it differently, such as, because I mean, he was a young kid, 22 years old. So if she, instead of saying he was a Christian, if she would have said he grew up in a Republican Christian home, would that have maybe sounded better?
Yeah, that would have, because you're not labeling a guy. You know what I'm saying? You're not saying, oh, you said this, but this is what happens. You know what I'm saying? Like you were this, but You got done in by one of your own people. So it's a narrative. You know what I mean? That's being spewed. If he was truly raised in that type of home, yeah, that would have absolutely, yeah. But to say he was a Christian was disingenuous in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay. And I put this on the screen real quick, y'all. First of all, let me say that I do apologize for the clip because I try to play news clips that's kind of more like, in the middle. She was super left. I wanted to try to balance it out when I play clips, but yeah, she was leaning hard, but she made some good points, like Justin, like you said, So, but yeah, this before I go to you, Teddy, I'm gonna just read this. It says, "Me, Tyler Robinson, the person who shot and killed Charlie Kirk, not black, not Muslim, not Latino, not trans, not an immigrant, not ISIS, not a Democrat, not a radical leftist, just a homegrown straight white male from a conservative Republican Mormon family obsessed with guns who wore a Trump costume for Halloween," had to throw that in there, "and was a regular poster on the right-wing forums. America, we have a problem. A wall won't fix it." Let me just add this real quick. If you
wait, so hold on. So Q, he wasn't a Christian, right?
Right, so Mormon household, no. But if you read this, what they wrote down, and I don't know how accurate this is, y'all. We got to do a lot of. It's still early. I think it's still gathering information. They're ready to put something out fast, but yeah, according to this, there's no motive at all, and we know that don't make sense unless he was paid off for some type of some type of hitman, and he was 22 years old. It just don't make a lot of sense, So obviously we still getting information, but this meme, there's literally no motive in this case. If he's a straight right wing, he had no reason to want to kill him. So
I don't mean to cut you off, Q, but in the reports from the news media, he really disliked Charlie Kirk and his position in a lot of things. So that's motive. He didn't like the guy. He spoke with his family, and he just got angrier and angrier when talking about Charlie Kirk. So he didn't like him for his ideologies or his stance on certain things. So that's a motive. He didn't like him.
I think something else we need to remember, they just apprehended this kid this morning. So, and from what I read, he did admit to doing this. So he was willing to admit that he did do it. I would like to think that if we give it a little bit of time, he'll likely reveal why he did it.
Right. His father turned him in, supposedly. Donald Trump did a press conference. And another thing I want to say.
Shout out to his father for turning him in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That can't be easy.
Right. It can be, because you probably won't ever see him again. But Donald Trump, what I'm watching is how the media spin this and how they talk about this kid. And because I think that in a situation where this happens, now it seems like they're not villainizing him so much. It's like, since he comes from this, this background, his father turned him in. I didn't hear the right tone that I thought I would hear, the vitriol, when they was talking about this young kid. So now it's like, I don't know. It just seemed like they're letting their foot off the gas. I don't know. If you'd have been a different type of person, whether it be trans, gay, black, the person that they thought it would have been, I just wonder if it would have been a different reaction. That's all I'm saying.
I think it would have been.
Yeah, man. And I want to ask y'all this question here, because why the HBCUs, for some reason, has been targeted. The first thing they thought, the right, and I'm independent, me personally, y'all, but the first thing that they thought was that it was a right wing. And the first thing people who wanted to respond, they went straight to, for some reason, black people seem like went straight to, like, there's footage going around, some black guy near the area got jumped, and HBCUs have been getting threats and stuff like that. What are y'all thoughts on that situation? What is y'all reaction to that going on, right? And I know now he's been found, but even before that, I'm saying it was going towards, looked like almost going towards, like they wanted to start a civil war, start some type of attack on black people. Did y'all notice that?
Yeah. So the same thing that happened in Rosewood, same thing that happened in Tulsa. They have a reason to start doing something, and then they target the people that they hate the most. without any information, without or little information. It's something that they just want to do. I mean, again, who these people are, the people that chose to do this, to make the threats, to want to fight somebody, want to beat up somebody, like the white guys in the group chanting, white people fight, white men fight back.
Yeah.
Who are you fighting? Because no black person did this. I mean, personally, before they even caught the guy, I'm like, okay, well, this dude is in Utah. I mean, it happened in Utah. 9 times out of 10, I doubt if it's a black dude.
Yeah.
We are a pretty white population here.
Yeah, right. I mean, so the likelihood of it being a black guy, I that was rare for me. I was like, nah, a black dude didn't do this.
Absolutely, man.
To chant, to make these and all this other stuff is just like weird. Like, who do you want to fight and why?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's crazy, man. Justin, well, somebody else about to go?
Okay. I was telling Ted that's a great point he just made.
Yeah, absolutely. Alvin, what do you think about that? Did you notice, did you feel like it was like, seemed like they was quick to blame, like blacks? Why do you think blacks and Democrats are synonymous?
Why do I think that's a really deep, that's a deep one, Q. But yeah, I did see my niece actually goes to Southern right now, so she let us know that they had the campus on lockdown for the entire day due to the threats that went out Thursday and Friday. So they're all good right now, but of course the threats went out, and that happens, and we're dealing with a lot of that because like people. There are radical people on different sides, and it's stupid that we live in a time where we have to quantify people by the size they're on. But there are people right now that are waiting for an opportunity just to latch on to certain things. So like for Charlie Kirk, it's easy for his rhetoric to go out as some of the things his talking points were talking about, even though most of the talking points that I've read from him came from a biblical context, not even necessarily racially at all, but because of his skin complexion, it allowed people that have those evil intentions toward black people to latch on towards it, and it kind of made him like a figurehead of it, even though that even was never his calling. That's the same way they did with Malcolm X, even though Malcolm X he spoke concerning black equality, black people taking back where they belong, and things of that nature, and kind of and being and getting equality and walk and living in a state of equity. But there were those that took his narrative and became a figurehead of it to where that it became a person where he's beginning to hate certain people. And that was never the way the message was supposed to go out. And that's some of the things that we do. Of course there's going to be people that want human beings to be divided because that's the only way they can maintain control. If I can keep you emotionally imbalanced, I can control everything you do. That's why when you go into a supermarket, into a store, and there's a sale, you'll go there and you'll jump for it and you'll want to buy right then and there because you don't want to miss that sale because your brain told you that sale won't be there tomorrow. So now you're emotionally conflicted and you're making a bad decision, even though they only took 2 pennies off of it. But those are the things that happen to people, man. People are easily divided. Social media has us going crazy. And we have too much access to everything, and we don't know how to process anything. But I'm just saying a lot, man. But yeah.
No, I get it. I absolutely get it, man. I mean, I do agree that some of the stuff that he was saying, some of them were harsh truths. Some of them were harsh truths. Like if I'm a black man in America, like I am, and I understand that some of our communities can be kind of rowdy. It's okay if we talk about it amongst each other, but when we hear white guys say it, yeah, it's gonna feel like, hold up, bro, wait a minute, you can't say that.
And that's what it is. Q is like at home. Like I know, like if my son is being bad, he's 8 years old, he's jumping around right now, and I go tell him, hey, sit your butt down. But if one of y'all go do it, y'all my people, and we like, all right, that's cool, but hey, watch how you talking to my son. You know what I'm saying? Because that's mine. So that even though we both seen he bad, but I don't really want you to tell him he bad. Let me do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let me say this.
Go ahead.
So when it comes to Charlie Kirk, and everybody's saying, how intelligent he was, right? So if
I never said that,
I'm not doubting his intellect.
Yeah.
But when it and my wife and I had this conversation a few days ago. So when it comes to a certain situation, if there's a person that has a certain level of intellect and he's speaking to a group of people that's not necessarily on his intellectual level, then he has the ability to draw them in. And now he has the ability to control who they are as people and what they think. So with that being said, then I think he very well understood his position and where he was and the things that he chose to say. So let's not let's not say that this what he believed in and so he should, okay, that's fine. If you're choosing to spread the things that you want to control people to believe in the things that you want to believe in, and now those things are starting to fracture off into something that turn into something totally different, that's a problem. And we have to acknowledge that. And that's for anybody, not just Charlie Kirk. That's for anybody across the board. And we have to acknowledge that. You know what I mean? And that's with any subject. I'm not doubting his intellectual level, but we've seen where some younger kids dogged debates. They killed him. You know what I'm saying? But he is a great orator, and he can talk his talk, even if he don't know what the hell he's talking about. It sounds good, but the people that's not intelligent enough to understand, guess what? They're gonna latch onto it, and that's where the problem comes in.
I think what a lot of people don't realize is, because you brought up like how black voters have been synonymous with the Democratic Party. Also, young voters have been synonymous with the Democratic Party historically, or at least over most recent history.
What
And
they call it woke. They call it woke.
With Charlie, he started this when he was 18 years old, and so he saw those numbers and he went out and started talking to kids at college campuses. So, I mean, clearly a smart guy at that age to recognize, hey, I'm a conservative and I see we're hemorrhaging these votes. How can I bring 10 points of those votes over to our side? And he has been doing that. I don't know. I've seen him get his butt kicked a few times in some debates, and but the fact he was willing to at least have those debates and debate folks, whether he won or he lost. I mean, like I said, I think is one of the biggest reasons why Trump won this election. Was if you look at how many young voters voted for Trump. I mean, the Democrats lost and they took young voters, and I would even say black men, for granted. Like, I don't think they did a good enough job reaching out to those communities. And I don't know if Charlie was out there working towards the black community, but he was definitely working with the young vote.
Yeah, I get it, man.
Let me say this one more thing. I know it seemed like I'm aiming at Teddy. I'm not, Teddy. I love you, brother. I'm glad you're here. Earlier, it was said that he got his karma. So his karma, him reaping what he sowed, would have been had he killed an innocent person, murders an innocent person. None of us can prove that he did that. So the fact that happened to him, I can't say that was his karma, bro, because none of us.
Right. So karma is not necessarily
a direct,
a direct thing. Is not necessarily
apples and apples, or
if you did it, it's going to happen to you the same way. That's not karma. Karma is some negative. If you put out negativity comes back to you in any form. That's karma, not necessarily you're going to an eye for an eye. I'm not saying that. That's not karma.
Yeah.
That's revenge. You know what I mean?
So when an innocent person, let's say the people passengers on 9/11, that was their karma?
Who said that?
I'm asking.
I don't know those people. I don't know. Again, when
you know they passed away, right? You know they passed away, right? You know they passed away due to violence, right?
For sure.
Was it their karma?
I can't answer that. I don't know those people, man.
But you can't answer that it was Charlie. But you can't answer that it was Charlie Kirk's karma, though.
No, he's
that's
just
what
saying
I say,
that. So I won't get too far off the topic, y'all. I get what you're doing.
Let me say this. Let me say this. All death is not karma, dude. You know what I mean? To
that's
put
my
that
point. That's my
that
point,
category.
That's my point.
All death. Okay, that's your point. I dig that. I'm just saying all death is not karma. I didn't say the people on 9/11, that's karma for them. What
Mm-hmm.
I said was what Charlie Kirk put into the world is what he got back. That's his karma. That's what I said.
I disagree, but
Yes,
good.
Janelle, I got a question for you, Janelle. I want to ask you a question real quick. So do you kind of off Teddy's point, just I'm gonna ask you this. Do you think that Charlie Kirk being such a talker and he uses these points and he talks, he probably offends a lot of people, right? We all think we already established that. He offended a lot of people, black people, not just black people, gay people, his beliefs, his ideas,
Women.
people that are women, people that are liberal, people that have different beliefs, they're gonna feel offended. They're gonna feel like their life is, people take stuff extreme. So if he's making people feel that way, would that heighten, you think, the chances of somebody coming back or trying to do something to him? Do you think that would be a natural reaction to somebody making people feel bad about themselves?
I mean, I know a lot of people that offend people that nothing has happened to them. You know what I'm saying? That's a great question you just asked.
Dude, just call me out next time.
Would you say that? You said call him. Yeah, that was crazy.
Nothing happens to them, bro. They walking around, breathing, smiling, golfing, playing tennis. Nothing's happening to them. That's just my point. But I respect y'all opinions, though. But no, Q, I don't. To answer your question, Q, no, I don't think that it's obviously yes, it's a chance. But do I think that was his karma? No, I don't think. But offending somebody, when you offend anybody, it's a chance.
Yeah.
To answer your question, but do I think that should have? No, I don't.
Yeah.
Can I say something to you? Like, in my opinion, I think like offense is just like in life we're going to be offended because in life we're growing and we're constantly being challenged. So like my relationship with my wife is going to be offensive to someone else who doesn't hold the same way. They might not feel like marriage should be the way we handle our house. Like just allowing someone to offend you by the way they're talking and by the perspective that they're giving you, and they're allowing you to challenge them. I don't think that's the way that they acknowledge that my karma's coming into place because of my biblical perspective. I'm telling you that we believe in one man, one woman. We don't believe in abortion. Certain other topics I looked at that the guy was talking about. It's basic biblical principle things that he's kind of speaking. He's just translating into a worldview where it's not spoken in King James language. It's kind of spoken in like English terminology where you can kind of understand it through an English perspective. So, but it's going to be offensive because I don't believe that way. We're living in a time now in 2025 where there are different, where even it's even offensive just to say that I'm a man, like just calling myself him, and acknowledging you. Be I would have to give you the courtesy to acknowledge you is your gender what it is that you were born with. I don't want to offend you. So being offended is just it's a perspective that we have internally. That's not a way I shouldn't have to respond because of that. Because if I'm not doing these things in malice, it shouldn't be something that caused me to be the loss of my life. That's all I'm trying to get out there. And I'm kind of rambling a little bit because I don't want to say it in a way where, like, even the way I'm saying this, I'm trying not to say it to where I don't offend someone.
Nah, you good, man. You speak for, but that's the thing about it. Like, I think the bigger your mic is, the bigger your platform, the more reach you have, the more people you're going to offend. That's the whole point. I think is if you say something offensive to somebody, one person, chances of them doing you something is like it's less. But if you say something, if your mic is huge and you say something offensive, now all these people are after your ass, and you got to go find a rock to hide up under. But
right,
yeah, man.
Let me say this. Let me say this, Q, for the record. I don't feel that this guy should have been killed for what he said. I don't feel like that. But at the same time, as like you're saying, with his mic being so big, you got so many people that are following you, but you probably have the same amount of people that actually dislike you for the things that you're saying. You know what I'm saying? And you have to understand, in the world, there are so many emotionally unintelligent people that are going to do shit like this. You know what I'm saying? That's you have to understand that. I'm not saying that he should have died. I'm not saying that this is something that should have happened to this dude, because I don't agree with that at all.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I certainly don't agree with it. But again, and let me say this too. It's a thing, man, where again, just the understanding that people are so radicalized by their beliefs, by somebody else, and they will take it to the extreme to make them feel better about a situation. I
Mhm.
understand that. So you know what I mean. I tend to stay out of situations to like Al said that can offend somebody. I
Mhm.
rarely talk to people other outside of people that I know
Yeah,
for that reason. It may be younger, but nowadays people that look like me, I don't deal with them because guess what? I don't want
that's true.
to. You know what I mean? I don't want to get into anything, man. So I just keep it moving.
That's a fact.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And just to
That's
add,
another
Q,
conversation.
I'm gonna add this with you, Q. Like, I'm not. It's not a challenge. I'm just like, why him though? Like, yes, he spoke and he went out the campus, but you like, I'm thinking like, cause like I said, I knew of the guy, but I didn't follow him per se. But like, I'm thinking to myself, like, out of all the people in the world with influence, with power and statuses, who goes out saying I'm about to assassinate Charlie Kirk? Like,
Right. I think.
that's that's
Mhm.
that has me like, why
Ready.
who like, cause you think about it, like 98% of people with our skin like don't know this guy, and
Right.
other people really don't even see him as harmful. Why him?
Well, I think that's why Dustin's point earlier was important. I want to point out because I was saying the same thing you said, Elvin. But when Dustin said that his influence and how he got so many people to vote for Donald Trump, I was like, oh
Oh
wow, I
yeah,
didn't know.
you did
So
say that.
maybe we underestimate his influence. But my next question I want to ask y'all about just Charlie Kirk being a net positive or net negative in general, with going around having these debates. Debating,
Mm.
we know the importance of debating. Debating is super important. The best thing you can do for anybody, sit down at the table together and talk, have a discussion, a civil discord, and give each other opportunity to respond. You learn so much listening to somebody debate. So I love watching debates because I think that they're so helpful. But Charlie Kirk, obviously, he's an older guy going to colleges, and young kids, young adults that age are very impressionable. So his message, like I think Teddy said earlier, him being a senior and having experience and having these tactics and know how to use to get his voice, get his words across, definitely could have been swaying people, like Dustin said, to go vote for Trump and have these certain beliefs. So if we all think that, I know some of y'all didn't agree that he was fascist, bigot, or racist or whatnot, but if he was pushing views that was, one-sided, kind of supremacist and stuff like that, was he doing more harm than good? And I'm not trying to get y'all to say the man death was, you know, to say nothing bad about him. I just want to ask an honest opinion. Doing the debate format the way he was doing it and having the result being what it's been, was doing that a net positive or net negative in your eyes?
In my eyes,
Yeah, you go first.
well, I mean, you laid it out. Just to have the conversation to me is a positive, whether I agree with you or not. Now, if you want to get to what was said in the conversation, obviously, if you spewing hate, that's wrong. But
Mm-hmm.
the debate overall, to have it, yeah, I think it was a positive.
Mm-hmm.
I
Okay.
I agree. He brought a lot of people to out to his venue, and it's not like he was just out there doing the talking. People were asking him questions, therefore you got his response,
Okay.
his opinion, where he stood on that. And like I said, there's a few issues that I really just did not want to hear him talk about at all, so I probably tuned out the rest of the clip or whatever it was. But no, he brought people out and got them involved, whether, they voted for who you wanted them to or not. I think it's important that in politics we do have more discussions and we do get more people involved, free of prejudice of who they want to vote for.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Alvin?
I'm gonna disagree with those. So I think it's negative, not in effect of the debate, but I think every debate needs a partial moderator. That way the debate can flow because it's his platform and his microphone. Even sometimes where like you and I think Justin said, like you've seen him lose the debate, it's his platform. So it can never the visual of it never goes out as he's lost the debate. So you can't really get a proper debate if it's not on an even platform. So you would need a moderator that can keep the debate partial, where both sides can equally have the same amount of time and the same amount of leverage of speaking their point of view if you're going to have a proper debate. So I don't think it was positive in that manner because it's never going to be on equal footing. It was basically him having like a megaphone, showing his opinion, allowing you to speak, and then kind of smacking you down with it. So
Yeah.
in that manner, no, I don't think it was positive at all.
Okay.
So
Teddy?
this is what I believe when it comes to a debate. It depends on which side you're on, whether it's positive or negative. Because the fact is, if you go into a debate just to argue your point and not necessarily hear the other person's point, that's an issue. Or what are we getting out of it? You're just saying what you're saying, I'm saying what I'm saying, and nobody's going to say, well, you know what, you're right. You know what I mean? So you're not getting anything out of the debate. It's just I hear your side, I hear your side. But if you're going into it with the idea of saying I want to beat you, so which means I want to win at all costs, then what's the point in even having a debate if nobody's going to accept what the other person is saying, especially when a person is bringing you're saying no, that's not true. So
Yeah.
that's just some shit that you put on the internet.
And
It
can I
means
add to
absolutely
that a
nothing.
little bit? Because he gets a lot of credit for being a great debater, but I don't think people realize this guy went to college campus after college campus and debated every single day against college kids who maybe thought a question through, maybe had where they stood on the issue, but clearly didn't debate. They really weren't on the same playing field. Like Charlie
Right.
Yeah.
Kirk was arguing or debating with college kids who were still trying to figure things out versus spending every single day debating, let's say, liberal social media influencers or politicians on the regular.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Great point.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, I definitely Teddy, I understand what you're saying for sure, because if you don't have civil discourse, if you don't have mutual moderator in your words, Elvin, I think it's very easy to manipulate and to use just basically springboard your words or your views out to everybody else. And they're basically defenseless because they don't know enough, they don't have enough experience most of the time, at least. Like Dustin said earlier, he has lost some debates on those college campuses. So some of those students are very smart,
Yeah.
but some of them
Sure.
get up there and they're just not prepared. They say some stuff, and sometimes they're right, but the way he responds and the way the crowd around him responds, it makes them seem stupid. And I think the way it's set up, it could be a better setup. But I do love debates. I think that I said before that this debating it's not necessarily sometimes is when it's done in that type of format, when it's done right. I think the people watching the debate can learn more than the people in the debate. Just getting your thoughts out versus somebody else, having somebody rebuttal, because anybody can turn on the camera and talk all day long and get their views out. But what happens now when you have somebody across from you that's going to sit there and rebuttal what you're saying, and now you have to work a little harder, and you get this, whatever you're saying can be exposed to being a lie or being false or sound stupid or whatever. But yeah, man, I think that it was good in a way, because it was able to give people the information and even understanding how to debate. Sometimes that's important. So people don't know how to have, like Teddy, you were saying, sometimes people can spew lies or can maybe talk over each other. The structure and how to have a conversation, a debate, all those things can be learned in that type of format. So I thought it was helpful. I hate to see it end the way it ended, but I do understand why people had strong views. I'm not condoning it. Like I said before, I think people should be generally empathetic for as him, the way it happened, for as his family losing the dad, the husband, stuff like that. The students that even saw it, because they're going to be traumatized on that college campus. There was, again, those students are going to be traumatized. I mean, everybody around it that saw that, You know, he got shot in the neck. And in the video, you could see the blood gushing out of his neck. I mean, that was some gruesome stuff, man. Like I said, we're so desensitized that we just kind of like, you know, whatever, it's good for him. Some people at least. But any final thoughts, guys? I wanna go ahead.
Q, let me drop this. My bad to cut you off, Q.
You're good.
Teddy and L, y'all said y'all didn't think it was positive, right? Okay, so I got a question for you guys. So Dustin and Q both said they seen debates where Charlie got cooked in the debates. So when Charlie got cooked in the debates, was that positive or negative?
It wasn't, again, for me, it wasn't anything. It just was something that they chose to do to put on social media. See, here's the thing with Charlie Kirk, and this is my opinion. So his whole thing is why did, like you said earlier, you know what? These kids are young and impressionable. Why do you think he goes to college campuses? Just like Dustin said, he went there purposely to recruit basically these people. You know what I'm saying? So again, for me, it depends on who's looking at the debate, whether it's positive or negative. That's what I said earlier. To me, it makes zero sense because if you're going there with the idea to win, you're not going there to listen to the other side or a different perspective.
Yeah,
Mhm.
That's fair.
Yeah. You want to respond, Alvin?
Yeah, I think everything has a purpose, man. So what I said is not, it doesn't. I don't think the debate format was positive because in the debate format you need someone in the middle. And if I'm the host, the moderator, and I'm the lead speaker in the debate, I'm going to win even if I give you a couple clips where it looks like you won, because everyone's coming here to see me. So that's what I mean by negative. And if their purpose were for recruiting and for visuals and for internet clicks and likes, then they won. So in that manner, it's positive. But as far as the debate where I give you my side, you give you your side, and then you know that information just goes out there, then that's what I believe a debate win would be. I don't think it's a win if I come to a campus and I'm the moderator and the host all at once. Even though I understand in the greater thing of his platform and what he's trying to the message he's trying to put out, but the debate I don't think that's a good debate format.
Mm-hmm.
I
Definitely.
respect that. I respect that.
Definitely.
My final thought, though, fellas, because
Yeah.
my girls called me for dinner. I appreciate all y'all for coming out. Teddy, man, much respect, bro. You're a very educated man. I wish to have a conversation with you, Al, and Dustin. Thank you for coming on short notice, bro. Q, thank you for inviting me, my brother. I appreciate all you guys, man. Y'all have a blessed weekend, man.
Definitely.
Much love, bro.
Dustin, what you got?
Oh, I was just waving at him.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
You got any final thoughts? You want to get final thoughts on the situation in general? Anything you want to touch on that we didn't get to?
No, I think all I really have to say is kind of some stuff I talked about earlier. Is like I said, these political leaders have got to stop spreading so much rhetoric towards each other because we're going to remain divided in politics as long as our elected officials are dividing us. So, I mean, I'm not hearing it being. I'm not hearing. I'm still hearing rhetoric coming from political leaders as we speak. So I hate that this is going to continue to be a problem in this country. But until we all seem to wake up and come together and stop letting these folks divide us, I don't know if this is going to get better here.
I love that. Absolutely. Alvin?
Yeah, yeah. Thanks. Like I said, thanks for inviting me, man. I wasn't necessarily prepared too much on this topic because I didn't know as much. But I'm basically everything that I'm speaking is kind of generalistic because I'm speaking in general to the fact that most people in Justin's point of view are they're looking for a leader, and it's easy to lead someone that has no vision of their own. So when words go out and political people are speaking to the masses and there's a following behind them, of course they can be led astray, and that's why there are people right now. And an ignorant mind is easy to be molded, man, and that's what's going on right here, man. One point that I just wanted to leave out is that like it's so easy to um to be desensitized and to see someone as lesser than when I take away their name. And when we're calling people, when we give them titles of different things, I dehumanize that person by that. And if you notice, like even in some of the things, some of the clips I watched earlier after Q invited me, some of the people were saying how they're trying to humanize Charlie Kirk. And that lets you know that that person who said that was saying that in their mind they didn't even see him as a human. So if I stop seeing human as human, of course I'm not going to value the life. So of course I'm going to be able to act upon my rational thought process of disagreement and do some harm to them. And that's just how it goes on when you're on the streets. That's how it goes when you're in gang culture. And obviously right now I'm looking at it, it seems like that's how it's going on in politics. If I dehumanize you and I don't see you as a human, it's easy for me to knock you off.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it. Teddy, what you think?
So when it comes to being desensitized, the world itself has put you in a position to not feel shit. You know what I mean? Because let's face it, as a personal person, if shit happens to me, the world don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? And again, like, what do you do with that? You get up, you move on, even if you see shit. I grew up in the Magnolia Project in New Orleans, man. I saw tons of shit. You know what I mean? And I can't put myself in a position to really that I have to do to get through the day, to get by,
Yeah.
to take care of my family. So I don't have time to concern myself with that other stuff that has no effect on me. Right. And when it comes to politicians being divisive, again, I believe 90% of the people in this world are followers. They like Al said, they easily led astray, and the politicians, you cannot get rid of human nature. They are greedy. They want things. So even if they don't necessarily believe in the shit that they're saying, they know that if they say it, then they're going to get what they want. So I'm going to put it out there because I want you to believe that this is what I believe, because that's going to get me to where I want to be. So if we understand that, then we can step back and look at things and move in a direction that we need to move in. So, we need to just try to educate ourselves more than, more and just understand, control what you can control.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I know for me, y'all, I look at before we went live, I was looking all over social media, different platforms, and it's obvious, man. People pissed off. People are angry. I don't know. I think it goes beyond this situation with Charlie Kirk. I think this is a deeper issue. It's a time that we're living in. It's a lot of factors, but people are pissed and people are lashing out every chance they get. And when we disagree on topics, people are internalizing this anger so much to where they're making it where it's like a life or death, and it's so big, such a big deal. Like, we don't have to agree on everything. We can still be friends. We can still be cordial. It's okay. You don't have to be so. Well, why are you so angry? You just want to. Yeah, it's okay. I want to see him shot and killed like that. And I'm like, man, do you hear yourself? Like, so I think what it is, man. Some people, man, and I get it. Eye for an eye. People might think, well, if something happened to me, I heard somebody say this. If something happened to me, Charlie would just use that as one of his talking points in the debate. He wouldn't give a damn, which is probably true. I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, that's typically how it works. People that don't have a platform, to these people who have bigger names, are essentially nobodies almost, but the case may be. So it's unfortunate, but again, I'm not so much into shaming anybody for not having empathy. I just think that it's the right thing. It's the right thought process to have. But if you don't, it's fine. I'm not judging nobody. I understand. Look, cool with me. But yeah, man, I think in general, I would like to see people just in America just kind of just be a little bit more caring, man. Just kind of get a little bit more back into, actually giving a damn. So we, like Dustin was talking about, people, so we can kind of come together, because the politicians, Trump especially, is doing everything he can to divide. I mean, every chance he get to talk, he's speaking in terms of divisiveness. He went straight and said liberal, straight and said, the left. And I'm like, yo, why don't you talk for the whole country? Like, why don't you, you can't just like speak to one side so much. So anyway, y'all, I do appreciate all y'all for coming in for real, especially, you know, Dustin. I truly appreciate you because, you know, you're a white brother, but you keep it real, and I love your perspective. And we need more
Thanks.
allies, bro, like yourself, because on that, you know, as much as we can all come together, because I think it's deeper than just color right now. It's deeper than just black or white. You know, it's about good people, bad people. It's about right or wrong. And then we can stick to the we can meet right there. I think we'll be good. That's all we have to do, you know.
Hey Q, can I say this before we all check out?
Yes, sir.
We've been what, an hour and 15 minutes. Nobody talked about the Epstein files, right?
I almost did like
Yeah,
twice.
That's a good point.
Think about that when it comes to the Charlie Kirk thing too. You know, I'm just saying.
Charlie spoke out. He wanted that stuff released.
Exactly. He
Is it a
wanted
He's also
distraction?
speaking out against Israel as well. A lot.
Hey,
See?
we didn't get into a few things. The Epstein files, like I said, Israel. We didn't get into whether or not it was a hoax or some type of. This is all kind of conspiracies going around. I don't know. They say people behind them was making signs and stuff, and I seen all that. I don't like speaking on stuff without absolute fact too much, but it definitely it's other parts to this that's still uncovering, and maybe we can have a part two, y'all. You know, but I truly appreciate y'all for joining. Thanks for the conversation, everybody watching. Hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. And
I guess
until next time, we're gonna holler. Yep.
Yeah.
Next time we're gonna holler. Peace out, y'all. I thought somebody said something. All right, y'all. Peace.